I am Volkan Gunak. I am a showrunner and documentary director, proudly holding the distinction of being the sole individual with the largest portfolio of sports-focused documentaries in my country. My work includes 11 films, a 74-episode and a 12-episode mini-documentary series, as well as hundreds of sports television programs. As a documentary showrunner, I develop and lead projects where sport becomes a lens to examine social dynamics, personal transformation, and collective memory. I don't just document victories, I unpack the full architecture of sport, its social reverberations, political echoes, and unseen human cost. My work explores sport as more than a game. It's a battleground for identity, a mirror for power structures, and a pulse of social change. Behind every headline victory lies a deeper story. I chase the triumph, but I stay for the aftermath, the ripple effects that reshape communities, politics, and legacy. I use sport as a cinematic scalpel, cutting through fame to reveal the fragile systems beneath: race, class, nationalism, and belonging. My documentaries follow the arc of athletic success, but also interrogate the cost, the culture, and the consequences it leaves in its pressure. They were called the 12 Giant Men, icons on the court, legends in the making. But the real stories lived in locker rooms, quiet hotel lobbies, and split-second decisions no one ever saw. This documentary unearths what history missed, with the voices of nearly every player who lived it. Court Queens is the untold story of Turkey's women's national basketball team, long celebrated yet rarely heard. As the first generation to represent their country in back-to-back Olympic Games, these women carried the hopes of a nation. For the first time, their voices come together to reveal the personal journeys, sacrifices, and strength behind the pride. Kadın Başına, on her own, is the story of Turkish women athletes who weren't just champions in their fields, they were symbols of resistance. Facing systemic inequality both on and off the court, they didn't just play to win, they played to push back. In a country where being a woman in sports is an act of defiance, these athletes became role models, not just by what they achieved, but by what they endured. Pulling history is the story of one of Turkey's oldest and most demanding sports traditions, rowing. At over 100 years old, Fenerbahçe's rowing branch isn't just the club's first competitive sport, it remains one of its proudest. This film honors the grit, sacrifice, and discipline of the athletes who form the core of Turkey's Olympic rowing team, showing that in a sport where nothing comes easy, legacy is earned stroke by stroke. He didn't invent basketball, he just loved it more than anyone who did. Granit is the story of the man who shaped Turkish basketball by living inside it, every single day of his life. Basketball was his language, his home, his only plan. The mind behind the movement, the man who saw where Turkish basketball could go, long before anyone else believed it. To the very end. Bravo Prakazi tells the story of Cevat Prakazi in a decade of change and challenge. Galatasaray's legendary maestro, whose skill and leadership brought triumphs to the club and turned him into an icon of 1980s Turkey. Beyond the victories, this film explores how Prakazi's charisma, style, and resilience made him a cultural phenomenon, bridging sport and society in a transformative era. A Muhteşem Gün, The Great Day, captures an extraordinary 24-hour cycling race held on a single track, where teams rode relentlessly through day and night. Against all odds, cyclists of every age pushed their limits and pedaled to the finish line. Prove boundaries. Hayatım Basketbol, My Life Basketball, is a landmark 74-episode documentary series that captivated audiences and earned critical acclaim for its intimate portrayal of basketball legends in Turkey. From NBA champions and EuroLeague title-winning coaches to NBA All-Stars and EuroLeague legends to pioneering players, each episode invites viewers into a solitary cinema where these iconic figures watch the reel of their lives and share their stories, unfiltered, raw, and deeply personal. Basketbol Günlükleri, Basketball Diaries, is a compelling 12-episode mini-documentary series that dives deep into the heart of basketball, told with the nuanced storytelling style of 30 for 30. From in-depth interviews with experts and key figures to explorations of scientific research and tactical breakdowns, this series uncovers the full spectrum of the game, its history, its techniques, and its human stories. Ufuk Yanar, the quiet hero, tells the story of a humble basketball devotee whose true greatness lay not in fame, but in the love and kindness he shared with friends, family, and even strangers. More than a player, Ufuk was a pillar of generosity and connection, a soul whose impact resonated deeply in the lives he touched. Though taken too soon, his story is one of warmth, music, and the lasting power of human goodness. The Yellow Legacy, The Beginning, chronicles the rise of Fenerbahce basketball, a titan of the global basketball stage whose fame rivals even NBA teams. Rooted in a rich heritage, this story begins with the landmark 1991 championship, the moment that ignited a legacy of passion, resilience, and greatness. Told through the voices of every key player and figure, this documentary dives deep into the history that shaped one of basketball's most formidable brands. I am Volkan Gunak. I am a storyteller at heart, with countless narratives that deserve to be told and heard. This is more than a story. It's a legacy waiting to be discovered.
Good evening.